very rightly said many years back by so many people, the change is the only constant thing. And John Stuart Mill rightly said, one person with a belief is equal to 99 who just have interest. I'm sure all of us have grown as young children. And then a mom said, child, you have to change. I went to kindergarten. Teacher said, Sudeep, you have to change. Went to the school. Again the teacher and the more brighter student said, Sudeep, you haven't changed. Grown up, class 10th board exam, at least change now. What will you do in your life? And then science, commerce, arts. I'm sure I'm relating to a lot of you, probably all of you. And then the time changed. But what happened before that? In our company, in our family, the changes happens. My grandfathers who started the company 40 years back, they are 5 generations old in spices business. And my father and uncle who are childhood friends. It's a 55 years of friendship and 42 years of business together. And that is where the reason to retain values becomes so much very important today. And now the change that comes is with my 2 brothers, my elder brother Akash and the younger Shubham, that how will you be able to handle this company from now? And then when I decided to change, I decided to change my whole perspective of life. I decided to change the entire grandeur of this entire city, state, country, and the globe. Somebody comes into my ear and says, Sudeep, why did you change? You have changed. You are no more the same Sudeep which we knew. Are we living in a dilemma? Are we not ready to accept change? I think the answer is within us. The answer is the day we decide to change, which is acceptable to our soul, is the day we have reached. There's a picture on the screen up on the top which says it was a printing press by the name of Vauxhall Corporation, which my father started at the age of 14. And we 2 brothers are there printing papers every Diwali, today also. And then in the business, this new mega factory which we put is the Asia's largest plant in Kanpur, with a dream for the next change, for our next generation, for the future leaders of the world. And then again, what happens? Another change. Is it? Can you relate to it? Why not? Isn't change the only constant thing? It is. And then the company thought it's not only about the infrastructure, it's not only about your inner self, it's not only about within your own domain, it's about presenting yourself much better to the world. And that is when your perception in this 48 degrees today, in a well-decorated auditorium, coming in this suit was a big change. I was wearing a tee, like my friend sitting here, you know. My friend just told me, you are uncomfortable, I'm very comfortable. But I had to change. Similarly, I think it's not only about the values, that which we have, it's also about presenting those values to the other people. Because your success is not only monetary. Your success should not be a best kept secret. It needs to be exposed. It needs to be known to the world. It needs to be an example for others to follow. But are we ready today to decide that we will be the examples in the world tomorrow, and then we are no more tomorrow? Somebody up there will say, no, that man said something more important. He did something which did the right change and retained the right values. Friends, these are the different kind of people we associate with in life. There's a very well said thing by a well-known philosophist. He says, an inch of time lost is more important than a penny. Change is good, but when? In how much time? Until when? It is very, very important. We need to decide a timeline. The last 2 years in our life, in the entire world, were not easy. For us, the life was in moments. The life was at a heartbeat. We never knew what's going to happen. We cannot forget that. Every phone that rung was a horror. What's the next news? I believe to sustain those feelings, but embrace change and increase the speed for better. The biggest wall you've got to climb is the one in your own mind. And the next is a very, very important point in my life which made me change. They are two different people today, but they're actually same. It's a story only 3 years back. The one on your left is a wonderful, smart, handsome, blue dress boy. He was in a perfect shape. He was in a symphony with this earth, with sun, with moon, because that's the shape of this world. He was in a perfect shape. I didn't need to change. Why should I change? I'm in symphony with this entire universe. The world changed. Somebody told many years back the world was flat and people didn't used to run. But then we discovered the world is round. So I became round. Did I forget that the world is flat? Or I thought the world is going to become flat again? But no. Something kindled my mind, and in cohesion with my wife, we thought, man, one last time, let us change. And not change back. We decided on a September Sunday, last 5 days we had partied very hard. The blame was obviously on me. But then we decided that day that we will change. September Sunday we decided, never ran before. January 19th, 2020, we ran a half marathon. First time ever, never ran a half marathon. It was Tata Mumbai Marathon, and it changed my life forever. And I believe of all the changes in the family, in the business, everywhere, were not so important as a change here. And the next picture says, for the next change that is going to happen in very soon, in few years, the next generation. I have learned from my father and uncle, my entire family, that if anything we can give to our next generation, and I'm not talking only about my family, it's the entire universe, is values. So if the next generation today looks at me and says that you have changed, like this one, is okay. But they say something else, might be very difficult to absorb. And as Steve Jobs said in his commencement speech, and on his last days, that the only value he could have had is what creation he did, but he was lonely. I don't want to be lonely. I want to be with runners, with riders, with the entire athletic paraphernalia of this world. And I have a dream. By 2026, I want to run an Ironman. And I will achieve it. खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तहरीर के पहले खुदा बंदे से पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. To change, you have to visualize it. And in my thought process, taken from one of the philosophists, change is only in two parts. One is internal, other is external. And the moment the blue circle is moving towards the red, that's the external properties or influences which are trying to influence you. The red one is internal. And if you resist this more, if you have a resistance very high, that blue circle cannot overlap with the red one. Now the internal properties are your temperament, your calmness, your attitude, your vision. And the moment you decide your internal parameters, then the red circle moves towards the blue circle, and the common point in a Venn diagram decides the U. Y-O-U-Y. Am I right? Y-O-U-Y. No, right? The question is, U is why. Why are you here? Why am I here? Why are we all of us here? Because we are the average of the 5 people we associate with. It's been proven. There's enough logic to it. There's enough studies to it, enough data to prove it. You are the average of the 5 people you associate with. And how do we associate? We associate in our minds. We associate physically. We associate socially. But the impact that it gives me today. So I thought one day, if I want to be an athlete, if I want to be a runner, if I want to be a good father, if I want to be a good son, if I want to be a good brother, I need to associate with the people who are that. If I keep doing the same thing every day, I will not get different results. And this is no rocket science. We all know it. But then I had to change my average because I want to be above average. Embracing change, retailing values, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends. The prayer was by Reinhold Niebuhr. It says, God grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change. God grant me the courage to realize what I can change. And most importantly, give me the wisdom to know the difference between both. Thank you.